Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Take Two Radio. This is Pam, your host, and tonight I have with me my lovely co-host, Dawn. Hello, Dawn.
Hello, Miss Pam. Gosh, it's Friday night, and I'm so glad because the day has been crazy.
I know.
Everyone. It has been a wild day. I'm like, the whole week has been that way. So I am so glad it's finally Friday. The weekend's here, and I'm sure everybody kind of mirrors my thoughts there. So hopefully everybody's week's a little bit better than mine. But anyhow.
Well, tonight we're so happy. We have Christian-Leblanc. Not sure if that's him on the other line. Let me go ahead and check that because he was having issues.
Unmuted.
Hello?
Thank goodness. I'm tweeting waiting in the queue right now. I see you. I see you wherever you go.
And we see you wherever you go.
I hear you, and they had muted me, and I'm calling, and I go, I wonder if I pressed the right button. I'm just queuing now. I can Twitter them mercilessly while I'm waiting in the queue. And how much do I love
everybody know that you had issues. So
I know. I thought, yeah, I do have issues, but it's not that time. I love that the British, your assistant is British.
Oh, my God.
Waiting in the queue. It just ups the whole thing really to a grand style. I like it.
Didn't it though?
I want to talk back to her like, I'm in the queue.
And you know what? We liked her in the beginning, too, until we had to keep listening to her for every show.
I know, right?
God.
It's like your GPS. I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake.
Like we don't know what time it is. Like, you know, the clock is ticking in front of us. We have.
I want the beer
else.
swiller voice from Georgia. You know, how are you? Would you just please turn already? Hand to God if you don't turn. I will cut
like
you.
Dawn.
Right? Look, I've got Georgians in my house. They're walking behind me going, don't bag on the Georgians.
Yeah.
Whatever, Southerners.
Hey, well,
he just yelled out, South's going to do it again. No, it's not always a gift to know funny people.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be a curse.
Well, you have something in common with Dawn. You're both from North Carolina.
Yeah, well, originally, yeah, Army brat, so I'm really always pretty much saying New Orleans, but I do love North Carolina. I was just there. It is the most beautiful place. Hello?
Dawn?
Yes, it is very much. I was waiting to see if you were going to talk,
someone,
Pam.
oops, that's a button? For God's sake.
Yeah, there you go. No,
there you go.
You
Fell
right.
asleep on the mute. I've done that.
No, North Carolina is a beautiful place. I love it. I love the fact that, you know, you're 3.5 hours from the coast, you're 3 hours from the mountains. And,
I just love the mountains. My dad went to Chapel Hill.
Mm-hmm. He was in Chapel Hill.
Mm-hmm. What part of North Carolina?
Well, he went to Buies, and I was in class, and I went, yeah, my dad went to Buies Creek.
Buies Creek.
Right. And all of a sudden, in the fourth row, a new guy, who's the sweetest guy, you know, but young and dewy, just right off the bus. Buies Creek, I haven't heard anyone say that in ages. I'm like, oh, God bless. There you go. There you go. Fourth row back. Sweetest guy in the world.
That's right. That's right. And I would assume that your dad, if you were you were born in Fayetteville, that your dad was stationed at Bragg. Fort Bragg.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, he was in the beginning of the Green Berets. He was Vietnam and Korea. Oh yeah, he was the first batch, one of the first batches.
My son just got back from there because he's a Marine and he was stationed at Camp Lejeune.
Oh, Mazel Tov, yeah. That's. I mean, I used to think of Fayetteville and Fort Bragg. You know, as a little tiny kid, I'm thinking, you know, dogwood trees and clay paths. Well, it's got a little more reputation than that. Fayetteville, a bit of a red light district there for the military.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh, y'all, they had lakes and trees and beautiful flowers, and the military people are with me are like looking at me like, like they never saw a tree.
Really?
They never went looking for one. I'm sorry.
No. No, that is pretty well known here. If you're in North Carolina, that's no secret.
I had no idea. See what they don't tell the 4-year-olds?
You know, you would think. I mean, really, what in the world?
Well, I've been to New Orleans, and I have to say that I love it there too.
Oh, that's my heart. That's all my family's down there. LeBlanc is, I'm the genealogy freak, so, you can just call a halt to the whole horrible mess as I start spewing. But, yeah, even my father's like, okay, whatever, 1816. 1765, first LeBlanc from my part of the family, and there's a lot of them, went into Louisiana from escaping the British up in Nova Scotia. So it's fascinating history, but the city itself, and I guess maybe when you move away from your home too, but the children's novel, my artwork, it all kind of references that. And there's a great mafia here. Anne Rice is out here, and her son Christopher, and Grace Zabriskie was born in the French Quarter. There's a great little. I did a short film with nothing but Louisiana people here, and it's just you have a similar, like anyone, you have a similar aesthetic at your hometown, and
right.
New Orleans is such a strong culture there, and so specific. You need somebody who knows the weird.
Yeah, and they chose
weird.
you, or did you choose yourself?
You know what? They just gravitate. You smell it. I mean, you could read the police report if you want, but really you have to develop a sixth sense of this thing.
You'll have to tweet that out.
It's a very Mardi Gras experience.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that it's a very, very interesting place to be. You have a little bit of everything there, and including your ghosts and your voodoo and all that kind of good stuff. But the only one thing that my husband wanted to go on the what do you call it, the crocodile or the alligator?
The swamp tour, yeah.
Yeah, that thing. And I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I just was down. I never did it in Louisiana. When at Tulane, I used to go into Honey Island Swamp. I was in science. So you're doing environmental surveys out there, but it's stunning. You're in the middle of the deepest swamp and one of the largest ones in the country. But I just came back from Florida. I had done a wonderful charity raising money for autism. And here I was in my dream got Jeff Branson, a friend of mine on the show, and a fan boat in the middle of the Everglades, and it was amazing. And saw all those things, the crocodiles, the wreck. It was just beautiful, beautiful.
I'm
but
sure
that was my
it
wish
is,
list.
but I get seasick too, so I probably wouldn't even do good on that.
I'm fine until you get to ocean swells and like little fishing boats like that. That was the only time. And diesel, kind of when you have the diesel fumes from the back of the boat, it's not a big boat. But again, I mean, we got hit by something on one of the soap tours. We were mid-ocean, mid-Gulf, and I mean, half the boat was sick. None of the crew showed up. It was really, it's interesting. You think you're fine. Don Diamont takes pills. Ha! I'll tell on him. He was like, I'm ready. I'm done. I'm on it.
Well, then I'd have to be sitting next to him and say, give me some of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you,
that's right.
It can be evil.
Which, by the way, thank you for sharing all those pictures from the Florida trip because, and the video too. I checked all that out, and that was so neat to see some of the footage. Yes, it looked like you guys were having a blast.
Well, it's about 99.9% of my travel is for charity. So you're kind of roughing it sometimes relatively. Cross country flight. We just did Toronto. I flew out on a red eye on a Thursday night. People arrived Friday. We did the thing Sunday. Poor Tracy Bregman, who plays my wife Lauren, was there anyway, but her flight was canceled. She arrives at 4 a.m. She does her first show for the shopping thing network, and then gets to the tea, our charity tea, and then has to leave after a few hours to another gig. So I mean, it's like traveling. It's so important. The best thing is to find somebody that travels well with you. I tell you, there's the people who, when things go to hell, complain, and there's the people that, when things go to hell, you both laugh harder. And those are the people I love traveling with, and they're generally the people I do these teas with and all these kind of things. Sometimes I'll be talking to Melody Scott, and God bless her, she doesn't need to do this anymore. She's like, I would kill myself. And I said, no, you wouldn't. I'd give you 5 minutes, you'd be fighting your way onto the stage to help us. But, it's just, it is. She's it's in her blood. The actor, Hambone, she would jump, but she initially was like, I'm not getting on one of those. But it's the most fun. I find that I'm exhausted. I mean, my voice hasn't come back, but between Florida and Toronto, But we raised $50,000 for March of Dimes in Toronto in a couple of hours. And that's the thing you have to give back. And, I don't go and, I don't do the soup. I don't do a lot of things. I want to do more. I do stuff in New Orleans and stuff. But these kind of things are just you have a ball, and it's hard to tell people that, it's a charity, that you're doing it for, I'm giving back, because really, I have some of the best times. I have the best stories. They're all on video. You can see them.
Yeah, you tweet them out. I mean, a lot of videos, and I have to laugh at most of them. That you're hysterical. My gosh, what must it be like to work with you or just to hang with you? How does anybody keep a straight face?
But it's nothing like the character, which I love.
No.
I worked hard to keep. You don't know. The only thing, when I took the gig, and you hear about people, 20, 30 years on shows, or even people running in plays for a year, doing the same lines every night. And I was just really prepared to see if I would be bored and I'd have to walk, because you don't want to be one of the walking zombies who are just doing it for a paycheck. You don't want that. But you know what? The character has always been so far away from who I am, which is work, which is the heart of acting. I get to do something, be someone who I totally, there's some points of reference, but I had to create something and give it a life, and then you can't, I have to go on set and then focus. It's work. It's like, wait. That's not me. I can't do that. I have to be Michael now. You know what I mean?
You got to get your ADD under control.
It's a challenge. Yeah, it's a challenge, right? The ADD, many other things under control that they don't have medication for.
Right.
Things preserve us all. But yeah, I like that it's work to be Michael, because that keeps the challenge in.
Well, I would sum up your career on Y&R as you were a good boy, you were a bad boy, and now you're a good boy again.
That's so simple to say. You know what I like about him, and that's kept me interested, and the writers gave me that, is that he is a good person. He does bad things for the right reasons, and does good things for the wrong. He's a human being, and I think that's the only reason someone who did such nefarious things has had a life on the show. Because Phyllis, Michael's character, a couple of others, they were meant to be killed. Kevin's. We have a family of people who should have been offed. Those usually are 2-year contracts and you're out. That's what I was originally. I wasn't supposed to go past the Christine storyline, and neither was Michelle Stafford for hers.
Thank God you all did.
Well, it's a gift.
I know.
Thank you. I think Michelle is probably the most talented actress on television, daytime or nighttime. I'd love to see. She makes me better anytime I work with her. There are a couple of people on the show. You want to be a better tennis player, you go find someone who's better than you. It's really like that with the scenes with her. But yeah, thank goodness. And again, Bill Bell was smart enough to keep her. And he even called me, and I didn't know till Michael Maloney wrote the great book, that's out there, about the autobiography, The Young-and-the-Restless Life of William J. Bell. He said that was the first time, because Bill and Lee said they'd call me. We have to fire you. You're so evil now. We have to leave. You have to leave. The fans won't put up with it. This is how close to reality he got.
Oh, I'm
which
sure.
is a hard thing to stick to when you're doing a show a day. He said they will not put up with you getting off for this. So they sent me to jail, and I thought, I won't wait for that phone call.
Right.
And I was doing theater, and I got to teach. Yeah, it's very sweet, but you don't sit around.
Right.
And he called me, and I was in the middle, and I probably wouldn't be any good if I hadn't had that time off, because I found my teachers then, because I was medicine. I wasn't an actor.
Right.
I wasn't trained as an actor in school. I knew I was going to be a doctor. I worked since grammar school. So I had to play a little catch-up. And when they let me go, I remember thinking, you think like an academic, because you work that hard, you make another grade, So I was like, I'm going to get teachers, and I'm going to be so good that the